and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the Asshole. If you are new or haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Titles are on the screen, the links are in the description, and let's get into it with Am I the Asshole for cutting my mother out of my life for letting me be homeless? Back in 2009, when the economy tanked, I lost my job, my car, my apartment, my girlfriend, basically everything. At first, I didn't want anyone to know what had happened, so I stayed at a friend's house for a week while I looked for a new job. But his landlord told me guests couldn't stay for more than 7 days at a time in a 30-day period. So I asked my mother if I could stay with her while I looked for a job. I told her I'd be on the street homeless if she didn't help me, and she still decided to refuse to help me. Fast forward 2 months, I've been sleeping on the streets for every night since, still unable to secure a job, even something like Safeways or McDonald's. My dad finds out that I'm homeless and sends me a ticket to come live with him in New Jersey, and I accept. Within a week I have a job, and in 3 months I'm in my own place again. It's been 10 years since, and I haven't spoken to my mother because of what I perceive to be a betrayal. She attempts to contact me frequently and I ignore it. Am I the asshole for cutting her out of my life? Edit. I have already cut ties. I haven't spoken to her in 10 years. It's my siblings telling me that I'm the asshole that prompted this post. Edit. People keep asking for her reasoning, and all I can say is what she said to me. She said she couldn't afford to let me stay, but all I was asking for was a place to sleep, not money or food. I was getting a small unemployment check, and eventually I got food stamps. I could have contributed. Edit. I guess I also have to say that I never asked my parents for anything. I've earned everything I have. I'm not a drug user, and I never have been. I don't drink, and I've been the most responsible of all the children. Oh, and my post should probably be, she let me stay homeless instead of let me be homeless. No, definitely not the asshole in that situation. I probably wouldn't want to talk to my parents if they were like that either. Sure, it's expensive if your adult child has to move back home. It can be a little bit expensive if they can't contribute to anything, but you were getting unemployment, you would have been able to contribute to at least a little bit of it. That's just unacceptable for your own parent, the person who brought you into this world, to turn their back on you like that and leave you homeless. Coming from a place of privilege, I guess, but I know my parents would never ever let that happen to me, ever. Even as an adult, my dad would drive across the city to pick me up if I was drunk and stranded, because it's better that he gets up in the middle of the night as an old man, well, he's, not that old, but old enough to come and make sure that I'm safe, rather than have me stuck stranded for one night or even for a few hours. It's just something that you should do. And, yeah. And the next one, am I the asshole for telling my friend that she needs to stop getting Botox? I'm a 31-year-old woman and my friend is 30. I've known her for 5 years. We do lots of things together, like go to the gym, spa, shopping, etc. Typical mum things. She's very beautiful, but has always been too obsessed with plastic surgery and facial treatments. She has gotten a boob job, a butt lift, and numerous Botox and filler injections. She says she's been getting Botox since age 21. Recently, she convinced me to get Botox with her. She said although I didn't have wrinkles, I should get them as a preventative measure. Yesterday, after she brought up the idea of getting lip injections next week, I told her flat out that I can't, and I don't think she should either. I told her that she's beautiful as is and should just put on sunscreen and face lotion to prevent aging. She says not everyone has good genes and says I don't understand. I told her frankly that the work she's done on her face is getting to be unnatural looking, and said she should consider stopping. She got angry at me and said I'm not being a good friend or being supportive. We haven't talked since. I'm just getting concerned for her because ever since she hit 30, she's been more and more self-conscious about her looks. She's also surrounded by enablers, and I wanted to see how unhealthy this all is. Am I the asshole? So I had a quick look at the comments, and apparently I am giving an unpopular opinion because everyone is saying that she's not the asshole, but I definitely think she's the asshole in this situation. I think if she had have stopped at I can't and I don't think you should either, then I would be less inclined to think you're the asshole. But when you went on to actually insult her and tell someone that you know is insecure about their looks and you know is self-conscious and has been getting worse over the last year or two, that's just really dickish to just be like, your face is getting to be unnatural looking and you need to stop. Like, that's stepping past the line, in my opinion. You can be concerned about someone, but you don't have to be a dick, and you don't even, like, and you know, you might be like, oh, well, sugarcoating's bad. You don't have to sugarcoat something to be nice about something. In the end, it is not your decision what someone else wants to do, and if that's what makes them happy, then that's what makes them happy. Good for them. You're not the one that has to get it. They want to get it, not you. Sure, she invited you to come along, but you're well within your right to say no. You're well within your right to have an opinion that you don't think she needs it, but you don't get the final say on that. She does. And the next one is, am I the arsehole for not sharing my birthday cake? My dad works near a very nice, expensive bakery, from which he occasionally brings home a treat which we all share. Today he brought home one of their filled croissants and 2 differently flavoured slices of cake. The cake slices were given to me with the statement, "Happy birthday, here's your present," and the croissant was referred to as something my parents would share while I ate the cake. Throughout the evening, my dad kept defending the cake from my mum, saying it's her cake and she can eat it, and wait for her to eat it. I chose to eat the slices when my mum was in the bathroom because I didn't want her looming over me while I wanted to eat the cake. My dad was on the computer doing whatever he usually does in the evening. I made sure to leave a little, about 2 bites, from both slices so that my parents could taste them both, since my mum had said she just wanted a little bit and Dad hadn't said anything to that effect. When my dad came back from the kitchen, he said, "Wow, you really are socially inept, aren't you?" and got really upset that I didn't call them over to share the cake. My mum also made a few statements to the effect that I should just have called them over because we normally share the treats from the bakery and this would have been the same. My dad then refused to eat the parts I did save for him, saying that if I wanted to eat all the cake so much, I might as well finish it. Was I in the wrong assuming that the slices of cake were specifically for me to consume? I'm generally not sure how I managed to eat cake wrong, given that it was never specifically communicated to me that they were for all of us to share. No, definitely not the arsehole, especially like, happy birthday, here's your present. Like, if they wanted some of the cake and an actual decent amount of the cake, they should have come out and said that. They can't expect you to be a mind reader and then get upset when you couldn't read minds. They're just definitely being dicks in this situation. And the next one is, am I the arsehole for buying my wife's younger sister an iPhone? I recently got married to my wife, who has a younger sister who just turned 11. She's a great kid and very well behaved and bright. I asked her last week what she wanted for her birthday, and she said she really wanted a new phone. She had an iPhone 6 Plus, which was a hand-me-down from my wife. It stopped working a while ago. So I bought a new iPhone X from the store and gave it to her at her birthday party yesterday. My wife and I were present, as were her parents and some friends. My sister-in-law loved it and thanked me. She was really overjoyed, but then her mum pulled me aside afterwards and said she had wished that I'd let her know beforehand. She says it's much too expensive phone for an 11-year-old kid. I said it's no big deal and I hope she enjoys it. Besides, it's good to have a phone in case of emergencies. Her mum says she will let her have it for now, but will think about taking it away if it interferes with her studies or something. She said in the future she would like it if I gave her a heads up before I gave her expensive presents. My wife was also annoyed. She said I should have at least told her. I don't really think that it's a big deal. It's not like this was my sister-in-law's first phone or anything. Am I the arsehole here? Why does an 11-year-old need an iPhone X? Like, it's a $1,000 phone. You just went and spent like $1,000 on one piece of electronics that's probably going to get broken or stolen. I mean, like, because that's not a walking target for a theft, an 11-year-old girl. Like, seriously. You should have spoken to your wife. You should have asked her parents if it was okay to buy that, and if so, what phone to buy. Because, like, that's just a ridiculous present for an 11-year-old child, an iPhone X. And you don't know, they could have had a phone that they bought for her birthday as well. Like, you don't buy major presents, expensive major gifts without talking to the parent. Like, you don't know what they've already bought or what they've arranged to have come from like Santa or something like that. Like, you don't know, and you could have just royally fucked them over by doing that as well. And the next one, am I the asshole for turning down one of those pay it forward attempts? Happened a while ago. I was in line at a grocery store when I noticed a man waiting around at the edge of the checkout lines. He was looking around observing folks and was probably around my age. I'm 25. As I went to pay for my things, he approached my clerk and said he'd pay for my items. I firmly said, no thank you. I told him I know what he was doing and that may be good and all for certain people, but I didn't need it in particular. I have a well-paying job and I work for my stuff. I assumed he was making one of those feel-good videos and started looking around for a camera person. He said, man, I'm just trying to pay it forward, and I repeated myself, no thank you, further explaining that it's fine to do that, but I didn't need it. Everyone started looking at me like I was in the wrong. I just looked at the clerk and handed them my card. I kind of felt insulted, like, do I look like someone who needs help? I'm a person of colour, but come on, you don't know me. Personally, I just don't like handouts for myself when I don't need it, especially from people I don't know and could be making some self-boasting video. I don't even like those kinds of videos, but I didn't explain all of that in the store. I'm there to buy groceries. I'm confused about their second edit saying that they shouldn't have used person of colour. I mean, if you're a person of colour, why can't you refer to yourself as a person of colour? So that was a little bit confusing for me. But there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's no assholes in this situation. He was trying to do a nice thing, but if you say you don't need the help, then he kind of should have respected that. I've had someone pretty much save me. I had a very important purchase it wasn't too expensive, it was like $10, $15, and my card wasn't working. Even though I had money in my account, I could see there was money in my account, I just couldn't physically use my card. And in the end I had to like call my bank and get them to send me out a replacement card because it just physically wasn't working anymore. And the person behind me offered very generously to pay for it, and if it hadn't have been such an important thing that I really needed, I probably would have said no, because I didn't really, I still had money, I just physically couldn't get my money. So I did accept his generosity, and to pay it forward to someone else, I ended up, there's a homeless guy that kind of stayed near where I worked at the time. So after work one day, I offered to take him to go buy him some food, something special, like nice, expensive. I think I spent like $20 on his meal or something like that, just, as a way to pass it on to somebody else who, was in need. I wouldn't have just it's a little bit weird just standing there being like, oh, I'm going to pay for your thing in a shopping centre. Like, if you're the person behind them and there's issues paying or something like that, then yeah, sure, offer to pay. But it's just a little weird. And to then be annoyed that somebody is turning down your generosity, if they don't need your help, then don't waste your generosity on them. What good is it for you to be paying it forward to buying something for someone who has $20,000 sitting in the bank just ready to spend on whatever they want to, or someone who earns $700,000 a year? They don't need you buying their groceries for them or anything for them, to be honest. Spend it on someone who actually needs the money, if you actually want to pay it forward properly, not just to make yourself feel good but then you don't even know the person or their situation. Anyway, that is it for today. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit that like button and make sure you are subscribed with the bell turned on. If you didn't, then you can let me know why, but you won't. You'll just dislike it, and I really don't give a fuck because that's still engagement. Yeah. But yeah, so I will see you whenever I fucking get another upload.